Does eating meat make me a bad person? Does eating meat make you a bad person? Does eating meat make anyone a bad person? After recording my Why I Stopped Being Vegan video, I literally received more hate mail than I could have ever imagined. So much so that if I wasn't such a strong person, I probably would have wanted to jump off a building. It is absolutely amazing just how hateful humans can be against each other. Now, the vegan debate, eating meat, it is one of the oldest, most philosophical, ethical, moral, environmental debates that there ever was. It's not an easy topic, right? It comes down to some fundamental belief systems and philosophies. So here's my take on the question, does eating meat make me a bad person? Because I asked it to myself many times for many years, which is actually what led me to become vegetarian for almost 5 years and then vegan for over 2. Now, the decision to eat meat again was not an easy one either, because again, of these constructs and these belief systems and these philosophies. And so asking myself that question, like, am I a bad person for eating meat? I started to see and reflect on so many different people that eat meat and get chastised by the vegan community, that get literally beaten, whether that be physically in some cases or emotionally or over the internet. You know, this question, it's a conversation that needs to be had, because most humans desire to have peace on earth, right? We want unity. We want more love. We want more connection. And yet, at the drop of a dime, we will start wars with each other over different philosophies and belief systems. And so, when I asked myself that question, like, does eating meat make me a bad person? I really felt into it. I really did my research. I really sought expertise both internally in my own internal moral guidance system and externally in traditional Chinese medicine, in Ayurveda, in naturopathic medicine, in different philosophical practices, and in the paleo community, the vegan community, every single, I'm a naturopathic practitioner. So I did my research down to the science and the spirituality of it all. And what I came to the conclusion is that some people, a lot of people actually, their biology, their physiology is stronger and healthier when integrating some animal proteins. And I see it time and time again in my practice. I work with a lot of vegetarians and vegans that have anemia, that are depleted, that have chronic digestive issues, that are under a lot of stress. And at that moment in time, their bodies actually cannot digest all of the different grains or the legumes or the soy products or whatever it might be. And adding meat into their diet, because meat is a very yang food, yang being the masculine energy, being a more invigorating energy, helps to bring them back to life a little bit, right? Because of the different energetics that meat holds, as well as the extremely high amino acid profile, as well as all of the different vitamins, like all of your B vitamins that you get from meat. Now, I know all of the vegans out there are going to say, yeah, you can find that in everything else. You can find that in plant sources. You can find that in supplements. And there's a different energetic. So really tuning into the spirituality of it, going to some of the ancient cultures like the natives and asking the natives about eating meat. And it is a deeply spiritual practice, connecting with the animal, receiving its energy, assimilating it into the being, going out into the world and giving of your energy to do good in the world, right? There is this intricate symbiotic connection that we have to animals. And does that mean that I believe in factory farming? Absolutely not. Does that mean that I believe in unethical killing and conditions of raising animals? Absolutely not. I also don't believe in wasting food. I don't believe in some of the really unsustainable, unethical, inhumane practices. And yet, for me, I'm an O-negative blood type. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm extremely athletic. I tend to be more anemic. I tend to be more hypothyroid. I tend to be colder, right? And so when I have included these proteins into my diet, animal proteins, blessing the food and bringing it into my body, I notice I feel a lot better. My blood panels increase. My thyroid has increased. My stress level's lower. And I can't deny that. And so I've played with being vegetarian, I've played with being vegan, really, really doing it right to the T, and it didn't work for me. And I've seen this over and over and over in clinical practice. And so what I'm saying here is, if being a vegan works for you, amazing. You are doing amazing work on the planet, and we thank you. I thank you. And for those people who do choose to incorporate animal proteins, animals into their diet, I can understand if you don't appreciate that. I can understand if you're against that. I can understand if it doesn't resonate with you. And yet, why? The way to approach it, the way to approach the conversation is not through starting war. War does not help. It's through compassion, understanding, and potentially educating from a place of love. Right? We need to learn how to work together as a human species if we're going to accomplish anything. And so for anyone, I kind of went on a tangent there, for anyone who is considering maybe switching from being vegetarian or vegan into eating meat again, or for the first time, it's really, instead of being binary of like, is this good or is this bad? It's, does this work for me? Does this resonate for me? Does this feel good for me? Does this nourish my soul? Does this nourish my body? Is this in alignment with my beliefs or not? And then standing convicted in that, right? Because there are people that are going to challenge you no matter what you do. There are people that are going to hate on you no matter what you do, right? Like, there are people that are going to try to break you down in all sorts of directions. And so it doesn't really matter what other people think if it really feels true for you. I mean, there are, whatever different circumstances where that's not necessarily true, but in this one, I really feel tuning into your body, asking yourself, like, is this true for me? Does this work for me? Does this resonate for me? And then if the answer is yes, then honoring yourself and trusting that that is okay. And I know that this is going to make some vegans mad. I know that not everyone's going to resonate with this. And yet we live in a world of polarity. We live in a world where everything and anything exists. We are not all going to agree. We are all very, very different in our biology, in our physiology, in our blueprints, in our auras, and in everything. We are all from one source consciousness, and yet we are all extremely distinct, special little snowflakes. And so when we can come to the table understanding each other's differences and having an appreciation and a curiosity rather than a condemnation, we will get much further on this planet. So whether you agree with me or not, I really appreciate you being here and listening. And if this does resonate, I would love for you to comment. I would love for you to share your experience. Even if you hate me, that's okay. I'll take that. And if somebody needs to hear this message, share it with them. You can even subscribe and hit the bell, and maybe I'll make videos on whatever you ask me to. I'd be happy to do that. At the end of the day, I'm here for the love. I'm here to speak my truth and to empower others to speak theirs as well and to live in that. Because more people living their authentic truth, that's what the world needs. Mwah.